Alrighty, so if you have the Schoology app on your phone, you can use that if you want. But I'm really just looking for your opinion. Tell me, we're going to talk about acids and bases today. Which one is stronger? Which one is more dangerous? Acids or bases? And I'll give you a few seconds to answer on Schoology, and I'll give you a few seconds to think about it.
No idea.
What do you think? What's stronger, acids or bases? Acids, hands up.
Acid.
I'm gonna go with the other one.
Who thinks base is more dangerous?
I gotta go for the other one.
I don't even know.
Oh, I thought you always heard of the first one. Okay, well then let's see if we can find out. Anybody know what the difference between an acid and a base is?
Oh, because you didn't tell us.
I'm asking you if you know right now. Okay, Leighton, time the phone away. Oh, are you? Okay. I'll look for your answer on there. What is an acid? What is a base? Can you give me an example of an acid?
Acids wear away.
Acids wear away things.
Like battery acid.
Like battery acid, okay? And where might you find bases, do you think? Anyone know?
Oil based.
Iraq.
Soap? What'd you say? Iraq. Like Air Force bases?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that kind of base, right? Ashton, are you watching here? I'm going to play you a video here. You're going to hate the song because it's going to be running in your head the rest of the day, and I'm going to enjoy that. All right, so what did you find out there?
Acids are less than 7 bases or more.
Acids are less than 7 bases or more.
That's all you had to tell us.
That's all?
That's all I know.
What about, oh, you just paid the picture in your
They have
phone.
2 different bases.
They have 2 different bases. Are they opposites of each other?
They have 2 different bases.
Which one tastes sour?
Acid.
Acids taste sour, and what do bases taste like?
Bitter.
Bitter. All right, I'm going to ask a loaded question. I'm a little bit worried about asking this, but anyone here ever get their mouth actually washed out with soap?
Yeah.
I have when I was a kid.
Yes. And it likely tasted
I puked.
horrible. Was it bitter?
Yeah, I thought it would taste like apples.
Yeah, it would, right? Yeah. You know what? I've asked that question many times, and I can always predict in the room who actually will put their hand up when I say who's actually had their mouth washed out with soap. And there always is some kid too. Okay, so this is on page 293 if you happen to be with a textbook. Where's mine? You can write these down if you want. They're entirely up to you, as I've said many times. I will post them later if you want to just sit back and listen. But the long and the short of it is that you need to know something about it. Actually, I'm going to skip back to page 288. Quickly read this here. So this is actually sort of a new chapter here in the textbook, although it's sort of part of what we're talking about here. It says here, what are acids and bases? What do lemon juice, dry ice, and water, vinegar have in common? Why would chemists consider them to be opposites of drain cleaner, baking soda, and ammonia? These substances can be all classified as either acids or bases. Chemists use classification systems to make sense of matter. So far in this unit, you'll learn about the classification of mixtures and pure substances, elements and compounds, metals and nonmetals. Acids and bases are types of compounds that have characteristic formulas and similar chemical behaviors, especially when they're dissolved in water. In other words, acids are sort of a family of materials, and bases are sort of another family of materials, and they share formulas, and they share certain characteristics. And I see that you're not listening because you're writing that stuff down. So I'm going to do that.
But you told us first.
I didn't actually. I said you can if you want,
Then we're gonna
because
fail.
I haven't actually gotten there. Are you writing it down? Okay, well then you'll have lots of opportunity because I'm going to uncover it right away. In Chapter 5, you learned how to name oxyacids. In Chapter 6, you looked at different kinds of reactions of acids, blah, 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 blah. Problems have been associated, well, maybe I should read this, though. Acids and bases are important reactants, catalysts used in the chemical industry to make such products as pharmaceutical drugs and plastics. We encounter acids and bases every day. Common acids include lemon juice, vitamin C, and vinegar. Common bases include antacids, ammonia, and baking soda. Problems have been associated with acids and bases. The safe handling of acids and bases is a definite concern, whether at school or at home or in the workplace. Concentrated solutions of acids and bases can cause severe burns, so spills must be dealt with immediately. Acid precipitation is a serious environmental concern in Eastern Canada. To go back to my original question, which one is stronger? The answer is it depends. You can have strong acids, you can have weak acids, you can have strong bases, you can have weak bases. They just react with different things differently. McKenna, head up, please. You too, Cole. Wakey, wakey.
So you're gonna finally tell us what a base is?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right away. Flipping to page 293, properties of acids and bases. You've seen that acids and bases have characteristic reactions with indicators. What are some of the other properties of these substances? Can we look at the name or form of the substance and decide whether it will behave as an acid or base? Acids are sour-tasting, water-soluble substances that are found in many common products. They are so reactive that they can combine with many other substances. For example, acids react with some metals to produce hydrogen gas. Acids also react with compounds that contain carbonate and hydrogen carbonate groups. Another characteristic property of acid solutions is that they are good conductors of electricity. All acids contain hydrogen atoms in a combined form. When acids are dissolved in water, they release hydrogen atoms. For example, hydrochloric acid consists of hydrogen ions and chloride ions in dissolved water. Blah, 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 blah. The most important industrial chemical in North America is sulfuric acid. It's so reactive that it can combine with thousands of other compounds and can act either as a starting material or as a catalyst in chemical reactions. It can be used in such varied processes as manufacturing fertilizers and explosives, refining oil, and electroplating materials. Acids must be treated with care. For example, sulfuric acid and hydrochloric acid are both very corrosive. What does corrosive mean, do you think?
Dissolve.
Hydrogen carbonate and stuff.
They will eat away at stuff, but only certain things.
Yeah,
Wire.
Only certain things. All right. I've heard you guys discuss Breaking Bad. No, but there is a scene where they are trying to dissolve a body, and Mr. White talks about make sure you use a plastic tub. Jesse didn't pay attention in chemistry class and decided to use the bathtub. What was the end result of that, Christian?
The bathtub came through the floor.
Exactly.
Pieces all over the place.
And so, if he'd paid attention in chemistry class, he wouldn't have had that problem. Because acids will not eat through plastics, but they will eat through enamel bathtubs. Okay? So, here's some characteristics about acids. Okay? So we're just talking about acids here. Acids are sour tasting, like lemons. They're water-soluble substances. What does that mean, water-soluble?
They have water.
It means that they'll dissolve in water, right? If you put lemon juice in water, it will dissolve. It doesn't just sort of separate, right? Like oil and water. It'll be mixed together. It'll be soluble. It'll dissolve in water. They are very reactive. They will produce hydrogen gas when combined with metals. Can you pour lemon juice on some loonies and get hydrogen gas? No, lemon juice isn't that acidic. Possibly, yes. They will conduct electricity when dissolved in water. Okay, so you can run electricity through an acid. Okay. And they all contain hydrogen, which is where the hydrogen gas comes from when they meet with metals, right? So the acid, the hydrogen in the metal in the acid will actually separate and produce hydrogen gas, which of course is flammable. And I did say I was going to try to get that electrolysis working for this week. They will react with metal. Corrosive means that they will react with metal. Can acids burn skin? Can, yes. Acids tend to be more dangerous with non-organic matter, metals and wood and things that are not living, kind of thing. Okay? There are some common examples there on the bottom of page 293. I think I've got them on my next page here. Okay? So some common acids are vinegar that you may enjoy on your French fries. So feel free to say, pass the acetic acid. for your fries. Citric acid, which occurs in oranges and lemons, and citrus products.
Potatoes and lemon.
Potatoes? Not sure. If you look on packages of like flavored cough candy or any kind of candy like that, like those Maynards, those kind of things, you will likely see citric acid as one of the ingredients. 5 Alive, yeah. Ascorbic acid is known as vitamin C. Ascorbic acid tends to be in, if you look on apple juice containers, you'll see that they've added ascorbic acid. Lactic acid, which is the acid that's produced in sour milk. Anybody else know where lactic acid occurs? In your muscles. When what? Yeah, if you haven't worked out for a while, then you go work out and your muscles are all stiff, it's because of lactic acid buildup. You sometimes see the football players on the side of the field riding the bike, the stationary bike. Why do they do that, Chance? You know? It's to keep them loose, and it's to keep the lactic acid from actually building up so that their muscles don't get sore. Carbonic acid, which is available in Pepsi and Coke and all those good things. That's what makes the gas. Acetylsalic acid, which you might find in aspirin. Sulfuric acid, which is found in car batteries. And of course, you've all got a good, probably half a liter or so of hydrochloric acid in your stomach right now. Hydrochloric acid is quite corrosive. Stomach acid is, in fact, quite strong. And I talked about a week or so ago, you've got a lining in your stomach that actually keeps your hydrochloric acid in place, and so it doesn't hurt. But if that acid starts to come up your throat, your esophagus, then you get that burning, right? If you've ever vomited and had that taste in your mouth and that burning, yeah, well, that's because it's hydrochloric acid coming up.
Does that wear away your teeth too?
It can wear away your teeth, that's true, yes. It's one of the side effects of people that binge eat, have eating disorders. Yeah, it does wear away at the enamel, much like the enamel in Jesse's bathtub.
I watched the Mythbusters episode of that when they tried to.
Did they try to put?
Yeah, they tried it and it was.
Oh yeah. Well, it is just a show, right? It's not true. Yeah, I didn't see that Mythbusters.
It does wear away, but
You
not
watch
as
it?
fast.
No, I wouldn't wear away that fast. No, of course it wouldn't. But it wouldn't be near as dramatic. So. Okay, so those are acids. Most people kind of know what acids are. It's bases that, and as I discovered this morning, you guys weren't really 100% sure what bases are. So let's talk a little bit about bases. We want to make sure we, cover all the bases. Okay?
That's an ESOP, right?
Yeah. Yeah, do you mind? Page 294. Bases are bitter-tasting, water-soluble substances that feel slippery when in aqueous solution. Bases are good conductors of electricity because they release hydroxide ions when they dissolve in water. For example, sodium hydroxide produces sodium ions and hydroxide ions when dissolved in water. Common bases are shown in Table 2. Substances that are described as bases may also be described as alkaline. You may find... What do you think it is? You may find, if you go to a place like Home Hardware, in the gardening section, you may find materials that are described as alkaline. Okay? You put them on your soil because your soil is too acidic. If you have pine trees in your backyard, around your garden, pine trees tend to thrive. They do better in acidic soil, and so you may need to add some alkaline, some base, to make your soil a little more neutral for other things to grow. Bases react with proteins to break them down into smaller molecules. A hair-clogged drain, I don't have that problem, may be cleared by treating it with a drain cleaner that contains sodium hydroxide because the sodium hydroxide breaks down the protein in the hair. Precautions must be taken to avoid getting sodium hydroxide in your eyes because it will react with protein molecules in the eye and cause blindness.
OMG.
Yes, so you would want to make sure that you would wear those safety goggles when dealing with drain cleaner at home. Don't get it in your eyes. Okay, some examples are over there on the right. So bases are bitter tasting, they're water soluble, they feel slippery, like soap or banana peels. Okay, they conduct electricity when dissolved in water. They release hydroxide ions, which are OH. They can be called alkaline, and they break down organic compounds. Drain cleaner is an example. And the word that we use for them is caustic. If you look at drain cleaner, you will see a picture of a hand like it's being put in the water, and then what do you see the hand? You see the bones. Okay, so what it's saying is that it's a caustic substance. It will eat away at your skin. Bases are actually more dangerous to humans because they will eat away at your skin. If you say so, Christian. No. Of people putting their hands in sodium hydroxide?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how they got the picture for the can, right? They convinced some guy, it'll be cool, put your hand in there.
There's gotta be some guy that's smart enough to try it.
Yeah,
Videotape it.
probably is.
Get a Darwin.
Probably, yeah, get a Darwin Award, exactly, yeah. It sounds like CLR then is an acid. It's reacting with the minerals, calcium and lime and rust. Although it does sound like it actually had some basic parts to it as well. Okay, here are some common bases. Sodium hydroxide, which you will find in drain cleaner. It is dangerous. Remember, don't mix it with toilet bowl cleaner.
Oh, yeah, man, I did that one time.
Don't do that. Potassium hydroxide is found in soap and cosmetics. Aluminum hydroxide is found in antacids like Tums and Alka-Seltzer, those kind of things. Ammonium hydroxide is Windex. Why would Windex need to be basic? What are you cleaning?
Wow.
You're cleaning well, but you're trying to clean the organic material that's on your window, right? You're not cleaning the glass, you're clearing off the junk that's on there, right? Maybe birds that have run into your window, or flies,
You're gonna
or
clean a bird off your window.
if there's bird leftovers.
If a bird strikes happens on a real good speed.
Sodium bicarbonate, which is found in baking soda. Potassium sulfite, which is a food preservative, are all bases.
They're all for sure.
Things like might be found in like luncheon meat or something like that. Okay, potassium sulfite.
McDonald's.
McDonald's, yeah. What's the one thing you notice about these names? The first four have what in them?
Hydrate.
Hydroxide. That's one way to determine if something is basic, if it has hydroxide in it. Okay. So, here's a couple things that you need to know. Acids, the formula almost always starts with the letter H. If there's an H out front, it's an acid. Give me one thing that you know that starts with an H that isn't an acid. A chemical formula. Thank you.
Hell.
Nitrogen dioxide.
You said that's not an acid. Purple is not an acid.
No. A chemical formula. We drink it every day. H2O, water. Okay. So just because it starts with an H
Hydrogen.
doesn't mean that it's an acid, but generally that's true. And actually H2O, if it starts with a single H, is a better indication. Okay? So it starts with a single H, it's likely an acid.
So we're
Big-
drinking acids.
Yeah, lemonade, Coke, all acidic, right? Yeah.
Like,
Vinegar.
Yeah, that stuff's good.
Bases have an OH in the formula. The OH is the hydroxide group.
Don't need to read.
Not for a few more minutes, right? Or a carbonate ion CO3. All right, a few just very brief questions. There's only 5 of them. They're on page 295. 5 whole questions.
5?
5. There's
So
only
like
5.
5.
5 parts.
One
there should only have to be
ABC.
2.5.
Okay?
Two
Yes.
ABC. Maybe like 4 parts.
It says, identify each of the following substances as an acid, a base, or neither. So all you have to do is say that's an acid, that's a base, or it's not. That's all you got to do. It's page 295 and it's number 3. Go ahead, Christian.
I bet you that girl's gonna be waiting at the door for me.
She'll be fine.
As soon as the bell rings.
Yeah, she'll be waiting to give you
Chance, you look like this person on 281.
Legit?
Yeah, you really do.
I like just fat or
Poor
what?
Chance.
281.
295, number 3.
Does number 3?
All you have to do is say whether it's an acid or base. The first one is potassium hydroxide. It is a base. How do you know it's a base, Erica?
So I put B down there.
Because it has the OH in it.
Oh,
If it has OH in it, it's a hydroxide. It's a base. Potassium hydroxide is also known as caustic potash. It's used as fertilizer. That's what they produce in Saskatchewan, all the potash mines. It's a large economy builder of Saskatchewan.
so a lot of pot.
It's called potash because it was originally made in a pot.
Oh my God. That's been a big hole. Imagine pulling that one.
HCl3 is known as chloric acid. How can you tell it's an acid, Cole?
Because he wrote acid.
Before I wrote acid. How did I know?
H is the first one.
Because it starts with an H. HClO3. It's chloric acid. You need to be able to do this for the test.
Hey,
MgOH2 is a base. It contains the hydroxide ion. Nathan, I need you to get that earbud out, please. Okay? It's also called, why would you guess? It's so simple. If it starts with H, it's an acid. If it has OH, it's a base. There's no guessing involved.
Okay, shut up.
It's so simple, and you need to be able to do it. Magnesium hydroxide is a base. It's also called milk of magnesia. It's used as an antacid to relieve upset stomach. Okay? You drink it when you've got too much acid in your stomach that's causing you grief.
Is that like
Neutralizes the acid.
Is that
Pardon
like
me?
Alka-Seltzer?
It's like Alka-Seltzer, yes. Yeah, I think so.
Borderline.
HNO3 is referred to as nitric acid. How can you tell it's an acid,
It
Mike?
has me.
Starts with an H. No guessing required. Starts with an H. Nitric acid.
I thought H was for a base.
Well, good thing we're checking. You need to be able to do this. The last one is potassium bicarbonate. It's KHCO3. It's a base. If it contains bicarbonate, it's a base. It's used in baking and it's also used in fire extinguishers. I see that I don't have the word base in there, but it is a base.
I
got one
Okay.
wrong.
I got
You need to be able to identify an acid or a base. You need to know if it starts with an H, it's an acid. If it contains OH or HCO3, then it's bicarbonate and it's also a base.
I think we gotta play
You
that
need
song.
to know that.
You know what? Play that
Necessarily.